Obi-Wan shut down his transmitter. Take Jango Fett into the custody. Right. He looked out of the torrents of rain pouring down just outside the protective canopy and opened the ship. Quietly, he slipped back into the temple custody. The Force let him sense and avoid the various people in the corridors, and he reached Jango Fett's apartment without incident. To his surprise, the door slid at his touch, and he knew at once what he would find inside. The rooms were no longer neat and well organized. Empty drawers hung open, and the few personal items had vanished. I knew he was ready to leave fast, but I didn't know he was ready to leave this fast. It couldn't have been long. It hadn't been long since Obi-Wan had left them. He checked the wall computer and quickly tracked down the landing platform where Fett kept his ship. A slave eye, what an appropriate name for a bounty hunter's ship. He thought when he read the platform listings. The ship was still there. Obi-Wan just took enough time to call up a map and find the shortest route to the platform. Then he left the apartment at a run. The two Fetts were still loading their ship. When he arrived, Jango was handing crates up to Boba. In his silver gold body armor and jetpack, he was clearly the same man who killed the assassin outside the nightclub. He had his back to the door, and Obi-Wan charged forward into the rain, hoping to surprise him. But the boy saw him coming and shouted, "Dad!" Jango Fett drew his blaster as he turned. Obi-Wan pulled out his lightsaber just in time to deflect the blast. By then, he was almost on top of Fett, and he swung the lightsaber. "Boba, get on board!" Jango shouted and triggered his rockets. He shot up into the air, avoiding Obi-Wan's blow. Obi-Wan spun as Jango flew over his head and landed behind him. The bounty hunter circled, firing toxic darts. Obi-Wan deflected them with its lightsaber. So he aimed back at Jango. The bounty hunter avoided most of them, and the rest bounced harmlessly off his armor. Suddenly, the bounty hunter shot into the air again and hovered out of reach. An instant later, the laser shell whizzed past Obi-Wan and blew a chunk out of the landing tower. The explosion threw Obi-Wan to the ground, knocking his lightsaber out of his hand. "The boy in the ship! He's firing at me!" So was Jango Fett, but Obi-Wan could deflect those shots with his lightsaber. That is, he could deflect them if he had his lightsaber. Jango Fett landed just in front of him. Obi-Wan charged forward and grabbed him. "As long as we're close together, Boba can't fight without hitting his father." But Jango used his rockets again and kicked Obi-Wan loose in midair. Obi-Wan fell heavily and skidded across the smooth, wet surface, grabbing desperately for a handhold. Just when he thought he had one, something flashed down and wrapped his wrist. "Clean wire," Obi-Wan thought, and then he was being dragged rapidly toward a support column. Jingle clearly meant to smash him against it, but Obi-Wan rolled sideways in time. He used his momentum to pull himself to his feet, then suddenly threw all his weight against the wire. The clean wire dug painfully into his wrist, but the sudden jerk brought Jingle down. The bounty hunter lost his jetpack and slid off the flat landing area, down the slope towards the edge of the platform, pulling Obi-Wan with him. Faster and faster they went. Just as Jingle was about to slide off the edge, Obi-Wan saw claws extend from his armor to the anchor of him in place. Then, as he slid past Jingle and over the edge, he sensed a flare of satisfaction from his opponent. Automatically, Obi-Wan grabbed hold of his loosened wire as he fell into the wind-swept rain, feeling the force for the other end that Jingle must have just released. For an eternal instant, he could not find it. Then he had it. The force sent it sideways among the great columns that supported the landing platform to wrap around a cross beam. The wire cut into his hands again as he came to the end of it, but it was better than falling into angry waves of being smashed against the support columns he held and swung under the landing platforms. Below him and a little ahead, he saw a small shelf, probably some sort of service platform. Just above the waves, thankfully, he let go of the wire and dropped onto it. Sure enough, there was a service door. Obi-Wan waved it open and charged up the stairs inside. He arrived at the landing platform just as Fett's ship lifted to hover a few meters above the ground. The first step in takeoff, he barely had time to snatch a small magnetic tracker from his belt pouch and hurl it at the ship. Then Slaveye took off, racing for the sky. But even though the pelting rain, Obi-Wan had heard a clank of the device attaching firmly to the ship's hull. With a revealed sigh, he picked up his lightsaber. All he had to do now was follow.